Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm here with Mayor Mike Spano in the city of Yonkers at Riverfront Library, along with other elected officials, to talk about an initiative that we're doing jointly between the city of Yonkers and the county of Westchester to try to help our commuters who commute into New York City or into the Bronx from the west side of Westchester County. What we're doing at this time is identifying that we have communicated with a letter to the MTA, Metro North Railroad and the MTA, to request a detailed study of what it would be involved in opening up the Hudson line train route, which goes from Poughkeepsie, local commuting, all the way into Grand Central Station, and open up that line for accessibility into Penn Station. Now, you may note that a couple of months ago, they opened up east side access to Long Island Railroad riders. They get off at Grand Central Madison, and they can get off on the east side or into Penn Station on the west side if you commute from anywhere in Long Island. That's an advantage to our friends in Long Island, and we in Westchester and Yonkers want that same opportunity from the northern suburbs going in. Our three train lines, the Hudson, the Harlem, and the New Haven lines, all currently go into Grand Central on the east side of town, which is advantageous. But there's an opportunity now for us with open track space in Penn Station to give an alternative that would open up the west side of town. We've had some work that we're doing to open up on the New Haven line, which would be the stations from New Rochelle to Portchester, that option. And now we think there's every reason to have that option from Yonkers and from the communities north of Yonkers on that Hudson line. And the effort begins with a detailed study. The benefits of this should be apparent, but Mayor Mike Spano has been the chief advocate for the city of Yonkers over an extended period of time, and he has a very clear idea of what benefit opening up commuting into Penn Station as well as Grand Central would mean for Yonkers residents. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to the county executive for being here today and for this really thoughtful and very important idea. It's always great to have elected officials who are always thinking and trying to come up with really what would be a real common sense approach to what you can do for a city like Yonkers. Yonkers, now the third largest city in New York State, a city that has 2,300 people ride the Metro North behind me every day, 69,000 a month. That's a lot of people. And you think about the fact that we would be able to be, if we had access to Penn, we'd be more sustainable, one. I think we all like to hear that word. But more importantly than that, though sustainability is important, but just as important as that is the fact that this city, which is the fastest growing big city in New York State, would have the opportunity to expand its opportunities for people who live in the city to be able to work in New York. And that would certainly help us out quite a bit. I mean, if you think about what's happening here, then it's all about access. It's all about, and you look at not just the access, you look at what's going to be happening when it comes to congestion pricing and how it's going to affect us. This access becomes even that much more important. And so I want to say thank you to the county executive for bringing this very thoughtful idea forward, and hopeful that those who make the decisions will give us this opportunity to be, because I really think that at the end of the day, it will benefit New York in terms of the city, Westchester, and beyond. It's what we need in terms of this way of thinking, but it's what we need for the residents of the city is greater opportunities to get to work and to go to New York City, because we do it a lot. We're a huge economic strength for New York City, both ways, and this will just encourage that. So thank you, Mr. County Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We appreciate it. This initiative begins with a detailed study, and we expect that study will show what the capital costs are and what the operating costs are going to be in order for this to happen. We do know that in order for this to happen effectively, we will need support from the state of New York and from the federal government. And the county is ready and willing to put resources of our own into this as part of an overall plan. What we've seen on the New Haven line side is certain bridges had to be upgraded and improved. On that side of the Bronx, they're creating 4 new stations that will help Bronx commuters as well. And what's important to note about this initiative, if it comes to pass, this will not only benefit people in Yonkers and in Westchester County, this will benefit those people that come in from Dutchess County, from Putnam County, and from the Bronx, where they have a couple of train stations in the Bronx that ultimately currently go into Grand Central Station that would also be able to go into Penn Station. From the county level of government, I'm joined by our Deputy County Executive, Yonkers resident Ken Jenkins, who's here. And we also have representation from County Legislator David Tubiolo. He sent Justin Tubiolo here on to be representative on his behalf. And we also have the support of legislators Jose Alvarado, Shanae Williams, and James Nolan. So this is a bipartisan effort that brings us together, which you may not see a lot of, but you see it here in local government at the county and the city level, where we find ways to work together across the aisle. I'd like to bring up next City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. She is the president of the Yonkers City Council. She'll introduce her council colleagues who are here and then talk a little bit about the council's point of view on these issues. Madam President.
Thank you, County Executive. With me this afternoon, I have our Majority Leader, Ms. Tasha Diaz, our Majority Whip, Mr. John Rubo, and we also have the Councilwoman for this district, Deanna Renee Robinson. Thank you all for joining us here today. I forgot Father Breen. We also have our Minority Leader, Mr. Michael Breen, here with us this afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and the county is excited to have this opportunity to work alongside the county executive and the mayor in our call to the MTA to look into the viability of the possibility of the MTA extending from Yonkers all the way to Penn Station. This would be an excellent opportunity for our residents in the city of Yonkers. As the mayor mentioned, we have both the council and the administration put forth legislation sponsored by our majority leader with regard to congestion pricing that our residents here in the city of Yonkers have expressed great concern with regard to. And we are hoping that the MTA will look into this endeavor so that we can alleviate some of the hardships that our residents will face with congestion pricing. Additionally, this can be an economic boom here in the county of Westchester and especially the city of Yonkers, presenting great job opportunities for our residents to travel into New York City and receive higher paying jobs and greater opportunities for work and play here for our residents. So thank you, Mr. County Executive and Deputy Ken Jenkins, for having this idea and bringing it to us and hoping that the MTA will hear our thoughts and pursue this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam President. I just want to highlight something that the mayor said, which bears understanding. Not only are there Yonkers residents that commute into Manhattan, but we're now seeing a significant reverse commute that comes out of New York City because Yonkers has expanded the business opportunities here. It has become Hollywood on the Hudson, for which every other community in Westchester County is jealous. And there are growing opportunities here, and most of these are transit-oriented developments. Certainly by this train station in Yonkers there is. And so it represents as well a more convenient way for somebody who lives in Manhattan or lives in the Bronx and wants to commute to Yonkers to go to work. We see that in White Plains every day, and it's also very prominent in Yonkers. And I would highlight that in my own life, I've had a corporate career. I worked at various times in the city. At one point in time, I had offices that were on the lower, you don't call it the Lower West Side, but it was in that area of Tribeca, just north of Tribeca. And I had to make a decision on any given day whether it was easier for me to drive to that location or take a train into Grand Central, depending on the weather, take a local train down to Brooklyn Bridge, then walk, or take the Times Square shuttle over, then take the #1 train down, all very inconvenient. It would drive a decision of where you look to live If you're outside of New York, moving into the New York area, you see a beautiful home in Yonkers, you say, I'd love to live there, I like the ambience, I like the energy of Yonkers, but I'm working in this office down in Tribeca. Maybe I should look at New Jersey or Long Island, because that will take me into Penn Station, and then I just have a local subway ride from there. If we can get seats that come from Glenwood and from Greystone, from Yonkers, from Ludlow, into Penn Station, then you can buy that house in Yonkers, and you can live in Yonkers, and you can commute into the city more easily, and that is always something advantageous. So I'd like to invite Ken Jenkins to say a few words, and then I know that we'll probably do some separate interviews with our friends in the press as well to highlight this. But this is the beginning of a process. It's not the end of a process. These things take time. But we are patient, but we are persistent. And I think together between the city of Yonkers and the county of Westchester, and this will benefit Greenburgh, this will benefit Ossining, this will benefit Peekskill, but we're doing it in a way that we think is responsible and the MTA should respond well to. Ken Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive, and it's great to be here with Mayor Mike Spano and the entire representation of the Yonkers City Council to talk about this particular idea. As a person that spent a lot of my corporate career getting on the Yonkers train station and then getting into Grand Central and either taking the shuttle to Times Square or walking across, in either condition, this is a great opportunity. And certainly President Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy pointed out something that the mayor and certainly the county executive were talking about as well, as far as congestion pricing is concerned, to give residents of the Hudson line in Westchester and up into Putnam and Dutchess that opportunity to be able to save some money by being able to take advantage of going right into Penn Station and not having to spend additional dollars or additional time. And time is money, and certainly the ability to have that kind of commute with the transit-oriented design, the many fine units that have been developed here in Yonkers, but to be able to make sure that this opportunity has an opportunity to be studied and to make sure that we are being heard. And our friends at the MTA have been very responsive to be able to listen to us. And this is a great idea for all of the commuters that are on the Hudson line and on the Hudson side of the railway. Again, it's a great opportunity. Thank you, County Executive. Thank you, Mayor Mike Spano, and everyone that's participating from up and down the line, because we have friends up and down the line of the Hudson line that see this as an important opportunity for the citizens around that take the Metro North to be able to save money, but save time and be able to take advantage of this great opportunity. So thanks a lot, George.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. So just to close out our conversation for today, we are making a unified front between the city of Yonkers, Westchester County, and the other municipalities, calling on the MTA to study in some great detail with a layout of a game plan of what capital and operating expenses would be needed in order to open up commuter rail on a daily basis down the Hudson River line into Penn Station. And as we digest that report and we see what kind of dollars and cents are involved, we then go to bat at the county, state, and federal level to help finance that and try to put down a timeline of implementation so that we can get this service on the books in a reasonable amount of time, and we're very hopeful of that. I appreciate the support from the city of Yonkers. I presume that the Yonkers City Council will develop a resolution in support of this, and we will invite the other villages and towns up and down the corridor to also do the same thing, to show that unified front. And together, Mr. Mayor, we'll plan on taking the first ride. If I'm not in public office, I'll drive you over, and we'll go together. And we'll take that ride into Penn Station. I know our friends in the press might have some questions, and perhaps we'll do an off-camera interview. But if there are any questions, we're happy to handle it. And if not, we thank you very much for taking the time to come. Wish you a very safe and good day. I want to thank the City of Yonkers and the Yonkers Riverfront Library for making this space available to us. It's a little cold outside, but it's nice and warm here. Come and visit your Yonkers Riverfront Library. Have a good day.